Good morning, Center of Hope. It is October the 30th, and it's cold. It is definitely cold out here. Jeremy might say it's not, but he's been wrong before. It is cold. So I wanted to tell you a little bit of a story today to start with. Have you ever been lost? Have you ever found yourself in a place where you're not really sure where to go, and that little voice in the back of your head starts to creep in going, uh-oh, no one's ever going to find you. You're going to be here forever. Are you ever going to escape? Oh no, this is the worst. You're out. You ever have that? I did. When I was, I think, 16 or 17, I got a chance to go to West Virginia and to do some rock climbing and some caving. And the rock climbing was absolutely amazing. I think I've talked about that before, but today I want to tell you just a little story about one incident that I had when I was in a cave. We were in this tiny little cave. There was a group of, I think, about 10 of us. And we were going through these caves and having a great time. Now, this is caves that if you turn your lights off, you cannot see your hand in front of your face. There is no light whatsoever. Well, there's about 7 of us, and we're in this big room, and one of the leaders looks at me and says, "Hey, where are the other 3 guys?" I looked around and went, "I don't know." He said, "Could you go back and find them?" Sure. So I hunkered down and I started going through this cave, and the path I had to go through, I mean, the roof of the cave was maybe 4 feet, so you had to bend right down and go through this long stretch that was really, really tiny. So I started heading back and then realized I had no idea where these guys were. I came to this fork in the road and I'm like, I don't know if they're left or right. I better go back. Uh-oh. How did I get here? And I'll tell you, I remember the moment when I looked forward, backwards, and to the side, and for a very brief moment, panicked because I had no idea where anybody else was, and I was starting to feel very alone. And that really tiny cave started to get a whole lot smaller. And I started to panic, and I experienced what claustrophobia feels like, and I'd never experienced that before. And just as it was about to become a full-blown panic, the 3 guys came around the corner. They're like, "What are you doing?" And me, like, being, the guy, "Oh, nothing, man. I was just checking out this cave. Let's go find everybody else." Let me tell you, that was not a fun thing. Hated that. I wanted to tell you that story today because I get the sense that there's still a lot of people that are feeling that way right now with what's going on in the world, with COVID trying to make another appearance in a big way again, and people's lives getting disrupted still, and you're still worried about family members getting sick or you getting sick, or what, it gets on and you start thinking about it, and suddenly that panic starts building up inside you, and that little voice starts going again, going, well, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if? Not a good thing. In fact, it's a terrible thing, and it's not something that you really want to have happen. I want to tell you another story, and I love this story. This takes place years ago when I was still knee-high to a grasshopper, so I was a tiny little guy. And my parents used to go for a week up in northern Ontario to a place called Pickerel Lake. And it would be in August, and I loved doing this on this trip. I absolutely loved going up there. It was the thing I looked forward to every year. Well, my dad would always take us out in this little boat that he would rent and go out fishing for the night. Well, we would go out, and just as the sun was going down, because that's when the fish would be biting, right? And the mosquitoes. But we would go out and we would fish for a little bit, and then it would get dark. Now, Pickerel Lake was not an entirely huge lake, but like any other lake, if you're out there, when it starts to get dark, fog can start to roll in a little bit, and it gets very difficult for you to understand whereabouts it is that you are. Well, one night in particular, I remember we finished doing our fishing, and the fog rolled in, and it was getting rather thick. Now, I don't ever see any kind of fear on my dad's face, but I started to see a little bit of that night. And just like me in the cave, being the guy, he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm good, everything's fine." We got our poles out of the water, our lines out of the water, our poles into the boat, and we started heading back, and Dad kept turning the motor. Like, we would go left, then we'd go right, we'd go left, we'd go right, and I'm like, this doesn't seem right. And pretty soon we'd been trying to get our way back for about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. it was maybe a 10-minute ride. It became pretty clear Dad had no idea where we were. And that's when it happened. That's when it happened. My mom went out from the cabin, went down to where we normally meet everybody at the end of the night, because there was a whole bunch of cabins. We were there with friends, and she went down and she lit the campfire. And pretty soon she got that campfire going so big that you could see on my dad's face just the relief when he was scanning the shore trying to figure out where to go, and he saw this big booming campfire, and it guided us back into shore, and he knew exactly where to go as soon as he saw that fire. See, Mom took a look outside and she realized it had been dark for a little while and her boys weren't back yet, so she wanted to guide us home. So she went out and she started this campfire to let us know where home was and how to get there. That's what we focused on. There was a bright light in the darkness, and we focused on that, and that got us home safely. You might feel like you're in darkness right now. You might feel lost, like me in the cave or us out in the boat. But there is a light that wants to guide you through this. There is something that can help you through this. And of course, I'm going to talk about God. I'm going to talk about the connection that you can have with Jesus. He will guide you through this. When things start to feel upside down, when things start to feel awful, find something to focus on, and that being God, and He will guide you through this. That's what I wanted to bring to your attention today, guys, because so often we can get focused on the wrong thing and start listening to that little voice inside your head, and pretty soon that voice starts to get loud, and that's what we start focusing on. So maybe we should change our focus and start looking and listening to that voice from the Heavenly Father who wants to help us. That's all I wanted to talk to you guys about today. So feel free to leave a comment down below, and I encourage you to show up either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday to the things that we have going on in the chapel. We've got on Monday and Wednesday things from 11 till 11:30, one with Jeremy on Monday, me on Wednesday, and then we have a chapel service on Tuesdays between 2 and 3. So please come on out and see what's happening. So I'll talk to you guys later.